I've lost everything twice in my life. Like I've been left with nothing, dead broke, nothing to give to the world, nothing. And I've told stories about this before in my previous videos. You just have to find them. And sometimes just kind of looking back on those times, I get a little emotional, but I do want to retell the story. And this is what I've learned from losing everything twice. This is what I learned about people. This is what I learned about myself. And this is what I would never do again. If I had to prevent it, this is what I would do. And so, first off, at 18, I joined the military. And I was in the military for about three and a half years. I did like a 4.5 year contract, but I got kicked out early. And I lost everything in the military because I did not know how to manage my risk. So I got into options trading and I didn't know how to manage my risk. And at the time I wasn't trading, I was gambling. So it took me a lot of years to learn how to actually trade. I didn't know how to trade, I was gambling, so I lost everything. Lost like $33,000, gone, left for nothing. And so it made me feel like nothing. And during that time, it wasn't that important to me because I was still getting paid. I was on a salary, so it was like money was still going to come in. But I was too ignorant and I wasn't ready for a lot of money because I didn't know how to use it. We think that we're so deserving of money. You're not, because you haven't become the person that can handle that much amount of money. Can you imagine if at 17 or 18, the world gave you like $5 million? What would you do with it? Like you would have became like some type of animal, right? Oh my gosh, who knows what you would have became? If the world gave me millions of dollars at 18, 19, I have no idea where I'd be right now. Definitely on a darker and deeper, more twisted path, right? I lost everything when I was around 18, 19 in the military because of options trading. I still trade options, but except now I have risk management. So every day it's like a slow green, right? I'm not greedy anymore, right? Green, 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 give me that done, right? Back then, I was gambling. It was just money in. When I saw green, I'd be up $1,000 or $2,000. I said, let me see if this goes to 4. Next thing you know, went to 3. I was like, one more thousand. Back down to 2. I said, damn, let me see if it goes back to 3. Down to 1. I was like, damn, let me see if it goes back to 2,000. Down to break even. I'm like, damn. Well, now what? Down to the red. Damn. Now let me see if it breaks even. And then I end up losing like $7,000, right? At least now when I trade options, I still trade options, right? That's a part of my day. I trade options. I see green, give me that, done. And it's just slowly accumulating. So I lost everything once when I was in the military, and I lost everything another time once I got out. So I consider this next one to kind of be a 2-in-1. And so it's right now, this current moment, and the past 2 years, and I'll go over it. So when I got out the military, obviously I got a job at the gym. You guys heard me tell that story. I was door dashing, and I was a janitor at the gym, just scrubbing toilets, sweeping and mopping, all that stuff. And I was a salesperson at the gym. I became decent, and I took it to a different opportunity. I had a friend who owned a highly successful company at the time, and he was flourishing. And so I said, hey, I got an idea on how to grow the company. I'll meet you there at 10. Right? And I was working for him part-time. Like just part-time. And I began to sell for him higher tickets. We started focusing on distribution. We private labeled. So he had his own products, his own brand. Our goal was to, and it was a nail company. So we manufactured nail products. Our goal was to get the products into actual supply stores. So for example, let's say you have your own sneaker brand. Your goal would be to get it inside of Champs. That's a supply store, right? And so there are nail supply stores, and we needed our brand in there so that a lot of these ladies that are local can walk in, see the brand, and say, what is Brother Cosmetics? Let me try them out. Boom. Shop the product, like it, come back again, boom, boom, boom. Go on our website, shop more colors that aren't in the store, tell their friends about it, boom, boom, boom. That's a referral, boom, company grows, right? So we focus on distribution. So I was doing cold calls every day for hours, man. So I would close 2,000 to about 5,000, $50,000 tickets, anywhere from there. So 2,000, 4,000, 6,000, 15, 20, 25,000, $50,000 tickets, right? I was sold a lot of high ticket numbers. And eventually, it did as well, right? Now, there was a time where I had nothing, right? It was a time in the company where it was pretty tough. Well, I mean, we got out of it, but it was a tough spot in the company where I had to make some sacrifices. And that was my friend. So I said, okay. At the time, if I left, the company would have survived because I believe in him. And I never believed in the company. I always believed in him because the dude's just a freaking monster. He has a lot of anger, and so he uses it and he just goes, right? So there was a time where things were getting a little hectic and he needed me by his side. Like he needed me right there by his side so that we can work together and figure it out. And at that time, I was just really low. I made a sacrifice and I said, okay, check this out. We're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, and I'll do this and I'll do this. And I had nothing at the time, but I had to make the sacrifice for us. And I remember how that, I viscerally remember how that felt. Viscerally, like I would sleep at the warehouse on the couch. I was in a relationship at the time and I was just so angry and sad because I had no money. I had nothing. I couldn't even help my mother. I couldn't even take my woman on dates anymore, you know? Like I remember like early in the beginning of the relationship, I could take her on dates because we were closing high ticket deals and you know, I had a lot of money and I had enough money to do this and do that and it got to a point where I didn't see any money and it ruined the relationship. And I don't blame what happened with the company. It was me. I was like a narcissist because I was so angry, so sad that I just took it out on her. And I became this like self-enveloped, self-centered loser who really destroyed her emotionally, you know? So I remember viscerally like sleeping at the warehouse, waking up to the smell of monomer. If you guys don't know what monomer is that like stinky nail salon smell. Like you walk into a nail salon and it stinks. That's what it is. It's a liquid that's responsible for creating that smell. And I'd wake up to monomer. I'm like, dude, I only got like 4 hours of sleep. Like I just did like a 32-hour shift. Like, damn. And I had to get up and I'm like, damn, haven't showered in 3 days. I didn't have any gas in my vehicle. So I couldn't drive home. So I would have to drive to the nearest gym because it was a lot closer. And I had to find a way to like save gas. And I would drive to the gym and bathe at the gym, right? Just to go back there and try to figure it out. And me and my friend, we try to figure it out. And we figured it out, man. And I'll tell you guys the turning point for us. We discovered TikTok Live, where we made me the face of the company. And that's kind of when like everything kind of spiraled upwards. Where when I was the face, I mean, it came with its pros and cons, right? I wasn't the easiest person to deal with. I'm not saying that I am the holy grail Christ child of Brother Cosmetics. No. I'm just giving you my experiences, and obviously I have to take accountability on all the things because I'm not perfect and I don't try to act like I am. I was a very difficult person to be around because I was very angry. I called a lot of the shots because I wanted things done my way. And sometimes it really pissed him off because he spent years building this company. And at the time, he was like, well, I have no choice, whatever. I need him right now. So he was tolerating me, and it really took a toll on him. And I understood that, and I get it. It was tough, you know. And I also made a lot of mistakes too, man. Like, I made a lot of mistakes. Like, I remember, like, I accidentally leaked, like, confidential information one time on live broadcast on accident. By the grace of God, nothing bad happened, but I remember, like, I leaked it, you know. And it was just bad. Like I made a lot of freaking mistakes. I would say things that you're just not supposed to say. So yeah, I benefited the company, but dude, having me as the face came with a lot of risk because I didn't give a damn. I just spoke without thinking, right? And so I was this dude that was just, And so it was a good and a bad, a lot of bad too. A lot of good, a lot of bad. But I viscerally remember how it felt to not have anything, man. Like I remember how I felt. I remember there was one night where I was in a relationship at the time, and she called me, "Are you hungry? I want to stop by and see you." And I was like, I don't want to see you. She's like, "Please." I was like, "Okay." She was like, "Are you hungry?" I said, "Yeah." She's like, "What do you want?" I was like, "Whatever. Just go somewhere close. There's a burger spot down the street." I didn't even have enough money to pay for the meal. You know, like she saw me sleep on the couch, and hair's all greasy, like skin was destroyed. And she would just look at me. And I saw the look in her eyes. It was a little bit of pity, but it was like, I believe in you. I hate seeing you like this, you know? And she was such a good person, man. I destroyed her. And this is why I believe that you blame yourself, because I could be bitter and I can blame the company and I can blame the circumstances and I can blame my friend for putting me in that situation. But the truth is, I made the call, right? I live by that rule. Like, no one, no one's to blame but you. And the more you blame other people, the more other people have power over you, and the less you do anything with your life because you're so focused on blaming him and her and this and that. I remember how it felt to not have anything. I remember how it felt to work for someone, to benefit someone. Yes, having me in the company was a detriment because I made a lot of mistakes, but I had to be there. I remember how it felt to have everyone in my city be like, how is it working for Adrian? Oh, you still work for Adrian, right? It took a shot at my pride, man. I was like, damn, like if only y'all knew the half. Like, you guys don't even freaking know, man. And I was like, yeah, it's cool, man. I don't know. And I would have to deal with so many smart remarks like, oh, you seem bitter today. You must have not got your paycheck from your boy. And I would just be like, yeah. It was very, very difficult. And I'm so blessed because I was able to take my pride during that time and throw it away earlier than most, man. Like, most people take years to throw away their pride. Sometimes they live until they die and they never find a way to get rid of their pride and they end up dying prideful. At 22, I was able to get rid of my pride. I had no choice. I'll never forget this one moment, and it destroyed me. And so when I first was working there, I did everything, right? Like, I would clean, I would scrub the toilets, I would do the cold calls, I would pack the orders, I would prep the products, handle the emails. Like, I did everything, right? Like, I was basically a second version of a founder. So it was Adrian, my friend, and I was the second him, to where he can sit back and just think of ideas and I handled operate. I did everything, did the inventory. Only thing I didn't do was contact the manufacturers. But I knew how to. I just said, hey, you do it. You contact the manufacturers. I'll do the inventory count. I'll send you over what we need to order. You'll contact the manufacturers and you'll order them. And then he was like, done. I did everything, man, you know. I closed the deals. I made sure that we did this. And he handled his portion too. He thought of the ideas. He still made some marketing videos. He still put money in, ran the paid ads. And he had to, on top of all that, tolerate me, which I'm sure was the hardest thing, right? And he tells me all the time. He's like, bro, I hated you. You are so terrible to be around. You are the worst person to be around. I'm like, yeah, I bet. But hey, at least the company benefited, right? He's like, I guess. You know, but at what cost, right? But it is what it is. But there's this moment, and I'll never forget it, man. Because I always hated, like, knowing that I was doing everything and it was to benefit him and I was under him and this and that. And perhaps that's why I always wanted to call the shots, to make it feel like I had some type of power. Like, hey, if I'm bringing this to the table, let me call some shots here, you know, both of us, you know. But I remember we all gathered to the warehouse one day. It was a group of friends. We're having a good time. And people spilled some food on the floor on accident. And some people were going to grab a broom and clean it up. And then someone said, no, don't worry. Let Thompson do that. That's his job. And my lady was there at the time with me. And I was like, dude, it broke me down, man. Like, instantly, I got emotional. I'm an extremely emotional dude, man. Like, I'm a little pansy. Like, I'm highly emotional, right? I feel a lot. I feel for others and for myself. You can call it what you want. I'll call myself a pansy. I wouldn't disagree with you if you called me that. But I remember I went into the warehouse to grab a broom and, like, shed a little tear, and everyone's having a good time, everyone's drinking, and I just had to get back. So I wiped my tears, went back, and I was like, "What's up, everybody? Don't worry, move aside. I got it. Big boss coming in with the broom," and I had to fake the funk in. And I was like, "But watch out, big boss coming in. Oh, excuse me. Let me get that right there." And I sweep it up, and I remember my lady was just there. I can only imagine what she thought of me, you know. I had a lot of I had a lot of moments where my pride was tested, and I could either say use it as fire or get rid of it. Like, it's no good for you. And I've lived a prideful life, man. Like, been that dude who's prideful and wants to prove everyone wrong and wants to show the world how good I am and this and like I don't want to be him anymore, man. Like it took so long to get rid of this pride to where I can be humble, to where if I make a video saying I'm dead broke, like it doesn't hurt me. I'm not shameful, you know? Like it's like, hey, I'm honest and I hope that my honesty inspires you and I'm still going. And I hope you go too, right? I don't want to be a fraud. I don't want to be someone who's trying to show you a perfect life and scared to tell you the truth because I know the truth. And the truth is honesty is the best principle. Because I've been a liar my whole life, man. Right? But during those stages, I had nothing, no money, nothing to give to the world or my family or even my lady. And on top of that, I had to deal with this and just people attacking my pride, and I just have to sit there and take it. And I can't even tell them about the situation. And I can't even tell you guys about the situation because I just won't, because I still have enough respect for my friend to not disclose the information that I'm not allowed to disclose, right? So I remember how it felt to have nothing. I lost everything. I was in like $12,000 worth of debt. I had negative 94 in my bank account. I had nothing. And if you, technically it was a negative 11, 12,000 if you add up on my debt. And my credit went from like 800 or like high 780s, boom, down to like 500 because I couldn't pay off the bills, right? And at that time, I learned so much. And now I have nothing again, right? And so that was about a year and a half, 2 years ago to now. And throughout those 2 years, I still have nothing. And it was because I made a bad call somewhere. And this is where I'll get into what I've learned. Now that I told you how I lost everything once in the military and then once doing that, now I want to tell you what I've learned. Anyways, I'm back working at a gym, minimum wage job, right? So I have to start from scratch. I have to build from scratch. And here are the lessons I learned. The first lesson is, if you're going to get into something, like go all the way. You only fail when you quit. And so whatever it is that you're going to get into, just because things aren't working doesn't mean you quit. It means you go harder. There's a difference between knowing when to jump ship and knowing when to just produce more volume. It's hard to judge if something's working based off a metric that tracks a short time frame, like a week or 2 weeks. Like if you're tracking something off weeks or maybe a few months, well, no wonder it's not working because you've only been at it for like 3 months. How about 3 years, right? And so you have to view it differently from a different perspective. You have to see it benefiting on the long run. Like you have to say, okay, if I keep this up for a year or 2 years, it's going to work. So whatever you're going to get into, like if you're going to get into it, really do it. And don't expect fast results. And if results don't come quick, then you double the volume. You double the output. You triple it. You quadruple it, right? You just brute force your way through. There's a time for leverage and there's a time for just going full force. Now, obviously, if you're going full force and you're going the volume and you're doing this and it's not working, now it's time to optimize, right? So for example, let's say you are a social media marketer and you depend on making videos to run paid ads on them to increase your amount of click to conversions, and that ends up with a sale. If you're pushing out hundreds of videos and you're not getting a lot of sales, then it's not a volume thing anymore. It's a quality thing. Now it's time for you to optimize. Okay, maybe now I need to make better videos. Now, can I lower the volume, and instead of focusing on volume, can I focus on the quality of the video I'm making? Can I make higher quality, good videos? Instead of just pumping out hundreds and hundreds of low quality videos, can I actually make some high quality videos, right? So now that's what we call leverage, optimizing, right? Now, when you begin to optimize and you have a lever and you're seeing the results, now that's when you incorporate the brute force. You're like, okay, this is working. Let's rinse and repeat it times 100. This format of video is working. This many seconds, this type of hook, this type of intro, this type of atmosphere, this type of caption, this type of this. Let's do it and let's multiply it. Now it's time for brute force. So first lesson, whatever you're going to do it and do it for a long time and do not expect it to work in the short run. You have to be able to do it for up to like a year or 2 years. And by the way, you have to have enough discernment to know, is this a volume issue? Am I not working hard enough? Or is it a quality issue? Do I just need to make higher quality? Once you figure out which one, then you can work on the other. If it's, I need more volume, then that means you have quality. Or maybe you don't have quality and you think it's volume, then you make volume. And if volume doesn't do anything, then you know it's a quality thing. If you have quality, but you want more, then now you know it's a volume thing, right? My second lesson is, it's good to have a good heart. I really believe in having a good heart. I really believe in being a good human. And I really believe in taking care of people. Because you're going to die one day, and it's sad to die knowing that you could have helped people, but you turned your back on them. You're going to die one day, and it will be sad for you to die knowing that you were bitter and selfish. I believe in having a good heart, and in order to have a good heart, you have to know how to take care of you and take care of people around you. But beyond that, in order to have a good heart, you have to tame your ego and your pride. Ego is, you think you're good, but you're not that good. I had to really tame my ego, right? I had to really tame my pride. Like, I knew I was good, but I had to say, dude, I'm not that good because I'm still being employed by another man. If I was that good, I could be bringing in this much numbers for myself, right? I knew I was good because someone was relying and depending on me. That's my indication that I was good. But I wasn't good enough because I couldn't do it my damn self. And so I had to humble myself. And then I was prideful. It was like I did everything. And then I had to acknowledge that, dude, you only did everything because, the dinner table was set for you. The company was established. You just came in and you presented your skills and it was the cherry on top. But the truth is, you didn't build the company from scratch. You didn't have to figure everything out. You didn't have to figure any of that out. Everything was there. It was taught to you. It took a week to learn and you just optimized, right? So stop being so prideful. Stop thinking you did everything. Because the truth is, you got spoon-fed something. And you were just lucky that you were good enough. And your skills were in high demand. And you were able to use your skills in that situation. And it benefited you and the company. But I believe in having a good heart. Because it's good to take care of people. I just think so. But there's a time when you have to put yourself first and you have to put some other people first. How do you know when? If you're face to face with a decision where it's, do I drown to help someone or do I let them drown so I can help me? You have to figure out what truly means more to you. Your survival or the survival of someone else. I have a saying and it goes like this. And it goes, I believe in God. One day you're going to die. You'll face God. God will present you a person that's highly successful, this and that, and you're not going to recognize them. You're going to say, who's this? And God's going to say, this is that person, but you turned your back on that person. You didn't want to help that person. And I never let that slide out of my head. Like, ever since I adopted that framework, I try to live by it. Like, if I can be the reason that your life is just a little bit better, then cool. And if I end up suffering, cool. I'll be fine, as long as you're good. Because I don't find fulfillment in money. I don't find fulfillment in fame. I don't find fulfillment in designer emblems. I don't find fulfillment in any of the things that these mindless humans find fulfillment in. And nothing is wrong with finding fulfillment in that. Whatever works for you, works for you. But I desire something more profound than surgery and getting big biceps and having a bunch of women and having the yachts and the jets and showing off a fancy life and being a business owner and having a lot of money and having all the respect. I don't care. I've had it. Like, I've had the ladies. A lot of them. I've had the fun. I've had the respect. I've had people tell me, oh, you're doing it big, boom, boom, boom. Dude, I was the face of the company, so when we'd go to nail conventions, like, all eyes were on me. And dude, it took a toll on my boy. I knew it too. I tried to include him in, but it's like all these people just wanted me, and I knew it took a pride because like they have no idea what this dude went through, like just to build it. I always like try to have his back on that because I'm not an animal, right? But I felt all that, and I don't really care about it. I don't care about the nice car. People literally base their whole identity off the car they drive, and they can't even afford the car they drive. But if they lose that car, it's like they're worthless. People base their whole identity off external validation, and it doesn't matter to me. Which is why it allows me to do things that are just better, because I find fulfillment in just being a decent human. Not prideful, not afraid to be full of shame, but honest. And always trying to look out for people. And always trying to do things for others. I made that decision. And I ended up bleeding. And it's okay. I made the decision, right? If you can't stand blood and you can't bleed, then I'd say don't do it. But if you have a desire to, then I'd say do it. But you have to know when is enough, right? I didn't know when was enough. I was just like, no, I'll keep bleeding. I can bleed some more. I can bleed some more. I can bleed some more. I can keep bleeding. I can keep bleeding. I can keep bleeding. And eventually what happened was I bled out. And when I was ready to go into the hospital for surgery, the surgeon just didn't want to operate on me because there was too much blood. And I'm like, damn, doc, I've been sitting here for... Damn, doctor, I've been sitting in the waiting room bleeding out for hours now. What do you mean you're not going to operate on me? I'm too high risk now? What do you mean? You told me you would operate on me when I was sitting in the waiting room bleeding. Now that I want to be operated on, what's going on? I'm just giving an example. And so that'd be another lesson, is to have a good heart but know when to draw the line. Be precise in how you define success. Because if you define success by money and fame, you'll be in this never-ending hamster wheel of failure and meaning, and lack of meaning. I apologize. Define success in different ways. Because if 80-year-old you doesn't give a damn about the fame, doesn't give a damn about the money, but wishes he or she would have done something else, then stop giving a damn about the money now. If 80-year-old you doesn't give a damn about the freaking Cadillac or the Mercedes or the Lamborghini, then don't give a damn about it now. If 80-year-old you would wish you would have been more authentic, then be authentic now. If 80-year-old you would have wished that you would have grew up faster, grow up fast now. If 80-year-old you wishes that you would have put people first now, right? Whatever 80-year-old you would think, do it now. And you have to be very precise when you define these things, right? Do things just because you want a better life for you and you want to keep a promise to you. Don't do things for the sake of just doing them. Next piece of advice, and this one's really important. Don't tell anyone your plans. If they ask you, what do you plan on doing? Just say, who knows? And if they think you're just like an uncertain dude who doesn't know anything and doesn't have it figured out, good. Because that's better than telling them your plans and their terrible negative energy just floats above you. It's real. Whether you want to believe it or not, it's real. Some people don't want to believe it. I believe it because it's real. Can it impact you? Yeah. But do you still have control over it? Yes. But it's good to avoid it. Because it's like, okay, there's two paths to 7-Eleven, right? Let's say you want to go to the gas station. One path has no road bumps or in potholes. one path has a bunch of road bumps and potholes. Which one are you gonna go down? The path with no potholes and road bumps, right? And so if you want to just avoid potholes and road bumps, you can definitely avoid that by not telling people your plans. Don't tell them your plans. Whenever they say, "What are you gonna do?" Be like, "Who knows? Whatever." Damn, bro, you don't know what you're gonna do? Nah. And in your head, have it all figured out. Trust your gut. Don't go with your heart. Go with your head. And I'm only speaking when we talk about business, right? In business, is a cutthroat game, man. People will become something else, all because of material things that they think is important. And it's magnificent. It's phenomenal. It blows my mind to this day that they'll put a material thing over a human, like a connection, a real human. It's just magnificent. I see it all the time. I hear stories about it all the time. That's why I'm talking about it. Try not to do that. Go with your mind. If you go with your heart, sometimes you'll look at someone and you'll say, "No, they're good." Even though your mind says they're probably not. And they're probably thinking the same about you. They're probably like, "He's not good." But then that's when you have like an undeniable stack of evidence, right? It's like, okay, well, I have this to back up. Well, I'm good. Here's everything I've done. And then all they have is just like a piece of paper like this, you know? So it's, when it comes to business, pay attention, observe people, go with your gut, trust your mind. Your heart wants to say, "No, they wouldn't do that." But the truth is, your heart is just perceiving them how your heart perceives yourself. You're projecting. So if you're a good person, your heart will just look at someone as a good person. You have to trust your instincts, trust your mind. Next lesson. You're disposable. People don't like you. They're just tolerant of you. So long as you benefit them, they'll tolerate you. And the moment you bring no value, they will dispose of you. You are disposable waste, and they will not want to be in contact with you. But when they need you, let's say they hate you. When they need you, they'll come to you. They'll say, "I need help," even though they hate you. But when they no longer need you, they will not come. You won't hear from them because everything is good for them. You need to remember that, because there's a rare percentage of people in this world that are actually genuinely selfless, like people that would die for you, like people that are drowning, and instead of them trying to breathe air, they're gonna stay underwater and suffocate and push you up and like, "Breathe, man, breathe, breathe, breathe," you know? And when you get up, you'll reach your hand up and you're hoping they pull you up, and they're just like, they're too busy gasping for air. They're like, "This is so nice." They see the hand, they're like, "Hold on, man, I'll pick you up in a second. Let me get some air," knowing that you're suffocating. Do you get my example here? You're disposable to a lot of people. So be careful when you make friendships or when you just do this and this. Like, to a lot of people, you're going to be disposable, and they're just with you for your benefits and whatever you bring to the table. And when you no longer bring anything to the table, they'll just discard of you completely. Like, completely. Next one. You can tell a lot of someone's character. Like, you can really judge someone's character by their ability to stick around when things get tough. So many times when things hit the fan, people, they run. The ones that stick around when things hit the fan and suffer with you, you keep them close because they're rare. Not a lot of people will do that. So whoever does that, you keep them close, because it's not a high possibility that other people like that person will come around in your life ever again. It's very rare, at least. Whoever is willing to suffer with you, you take care of them like precious jewels, because they are that, precious jewels. The gorgeous, gorgeous jewels. Right? And they need to be taken care of. And you owe it to them to take care of them. Not because you truly owe them, but it's because like they are deserving of it. Like they just deserve it, man. They deserve to be taken care of. Next one. If you're gonna make a decision, make it quick. The speed of growth is predicated on this one framework. What takes you a week to make a decision, I make within a day or within a few hours. Some people call it you're too spontaneous, you're too emotional, you're too impulsive. I call it no, I'm just quicker than you. I'm just faster than you. I'm not afraid. The reason you need a week or a month is because you're afraid of all the things that can go wrong. The reason I only need a few hours or even a few minutes or even a few days or even one day is because I'm not afraid of whatever goes wrong, because whatever goes wrong, I can fix. But you're just so afraid because you want to avoid that by all means. Or you could just take action and realize that whatever you were afraid of isn't even real. And now you can 3x the amount of growth because you make faster decisions. You make decisions quick and you don't take months to make them. It happens right away. So whenever you're about to make a decision, when you're face to face with a decision you need to make it now. You don't need time to think. For what? What is there to think about? What is there? It's kind of like you needing to go to the gym and you're like, okay, just hold on, just let me get ready. Get ready for what? You are just delaying something that you need to do. Procrastination is the arrogance of thinking. Procrastination is the arrogance of thinking that you have until tomorrow to do something that you have to do today. Be quick and precise with your decision making. Be very precise. Use power as leverage. That's my next one. Unless you're in a business with friends, right? Like people that you care about. But if let's just say you're just a number to people, use power as leverage. Like use power as leverage, man. If you are beneficial, you get the most. You get the most out of whatever it is that you are investing in. If you are investing in a company and you're a salesperson for a company and they need you and you're a highly successful salesperson or whatever, you make sure you get the most out of it. You say, hey, I want these perks. Let me get some more hours. Boom, boom, boom. Let me get a raise. Boom, boom. Because you're disposable anyways. So it's either they say no or they say yes. And if they say no, worth a shot. And if they say yes, congratulations. If you don't take a leap, here's the thing. When you take a leap and you jump into that fear we talked about earlier, fear is a mile wide and inch deep. When you take that leap, you risk failure. If you don't take the leap, you guarantee failure. So if you want to raise, if you ask, you risk no. If you don't ask, you guarantee no. So use that as leverage, especially if you're valuable. You're more likely to be at the top of their radar. They're like, sure, we'll look out for you because we need you. Right? Never let material things come in the way of something as real as a freaking connection. But then again, you have to define a connection. Like, what's a connection? Will we die for each other? Like a connection, let's say a friendship or a partnership, you and your wife, you and your husband for that matter. A lot of people want to stay in relationships because it's like, we love you. I love you and you love me. We love each other. Some people stay in friendships because it's like, oh, well, there's a connection. But the truth is, it's good to define it. What's a connection? What's a true relationship? Is it just the amount of time that two people have known each other? Or is it undeniable loyalty to one another? I define it as undeniable loyalty, despite how long we've known each other. I'll die for you. Would you die for me? I'll cut my left arm off if you need one. Would you cut your left arm off if I needed one? If we were both drowning, I would continue to suffocate in order to lift you up and give you air. Would you do the same for me? If the answer is no, I don't see you as someone that needs to be in my life. If you know you're selfless, like truly, and this is not like, you really have to know yourself here. Like, you can't look in the mirror and lie to yourself and say, I am a good person. Because here's the thing, we judge people off their actions, but we judge ourselves off our intentions. It's freaking terrible. Like, okay, if I have the intention, if I love a woman and my intention is I care about her, but I slap her, what does that mean? That means my intentions don't really mean shit because my actions say otherwise, right? You have to judge yourself off your actions, and you have to see people off their intentions. And that's how you grow, man. I think the world would be a lot different if people started judging themselves off their actions instead of their damn intentions. You know? And so if you truly think you're a good person, and no, not even think, if you know you're a good human, if you know you're selfless, if you know you're loyal, like, and this is not a lie, this is not like, oh, I have good intentions. No, but it's like there's an undeniable stack of evidence that you have to back up every claim that you make. I am selfless. Here's my stack of evidence. I am loyal. Here's my stack of evidence. I am committed. Here's my stack of evidence. I can put people first. Here's my stack of evidence. If you know that and you have an undeniable stack of evidence to back it up, and you see that someone does not resemble it in any way, you depart right away. Like, you depart right away. And you can give as many chances as you want. It's your call. This is subjective. I'm a highly patient individual. And so I give a lot of chances because God has given me chances. If God told me, hey, Thompson, 2 strikes and you're out, I'd be dead. I'd be on the street, on the floor, crying, homeless, or in the penitentiary. God has given me so many chances, and God has not stopped giving me chances. And so I just extend that same grace to everybody else in my life. Someone can stab my back, and I'll say, it's okay, man. Did you learn anything from that? And, you know, I give a lot of chances. But I have a rule where it's like, bring a horse to a water, but you can't make the horse drink. And obviously, I've taught this saying that B.F. Skinner, which is a behavioral psychologist, he says, well, if you bleed the horse to death, leave it out to dry, it will drink from the water, which is predicated on if you force someone against a wall, they will change, right? There comes a time where you can't really give anyone enough chances anymore because it's like, gave you enough. Peace out. Don't give up on people. Be there for people. Understand people, which is my next lesson. Like, understand people. The more you understand someone, the less they affect you. You know, like, you won't even think about them, you know, because you understand them. You're like, just them. Whatever. I'm going to do me. That's them. Don't really care what they do anymore. Right? You have to understand people. It really helps you not get affected by them or by other things, right? Because in this world, people are going to believe contrary to what we believe, act differently, behave in ways we wouldn't behave in. And we're going to get upset because it's like, why are you doing that? I want you to be like me. Why aren't you like me, right? We're so selfish, right? But you have to understand that people are going to be them, and they will not change until they have a reason to. Someone who's out of shape will not start getting in shape until he or she has been told the bad news that they have cardiac disease and diabetes and cancer. Then they'll get in shape. Then they'll change their life. Until then, they'll just keep destroying their bodies, right? Some people won't take action until they're deprived of something. That's what motivation is. Motivation is the deprivation of something, right? If you're deprived of something, you're motivated to get it. If you're thirsty and you're motivated to drink water, it's because you're deprived of water. That's why you're thirsty, hence being thirsty, right? So be patient with people, understand people. Give people chances. That's my rule. But know when to draw the line. Like, if you give them chances and you just don't see any change whatsoever, despite them saying they want to change, then that's when you depart. And you can either stand by them from a distance or you can just walk and just wait for them to catch up, right? Because you're on a different path. They're on a different path. You're on a different journey. They're on a different journey. Your time is different than their time, right? And you have to understand that. So everyone's timing is different. You should never expect someone to behave how you want them to behave, because it's almost as if you want to control their life. Like, you want to be in control. And that's entirely selfish. If I want someone to be just like me, like a copy and paste version of me, and I get pissed off when they don't, it's because I want to have control over their life. And so that's very controlling, and it's very sad. You become this control freak where you want everything in your control. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people like that. Last piece of advice, we're going to end the video there. It's been 45 minutes. It's been a long video. I told you guys these videos are long form, man. Whatever work you do, you make sure you do something you find meaningful. Obviously, if your circumstances are different and you're dealt different cards and you have to do something that you don't find meaningful because you have to survive, that's fine. But when you get to a point where you can make a decision, I'd highly suggest that you make a decision to go towards doing what you find meaningful, as opposed to continuing to do something that you do not like, that you absolutely hate. Do something you find meaningful. Don't do something that you just are doing just for the sake of survival. Do it to survive, stack your money, and then use that money and find a way to make more money from your money, or invest it and learn skills. Do something, and then from there, with the skills you have, find a way to use those skills, give it to the world, and do something meaningful. Practice something meaningful. It's a tough journey, man. I've lost everything a lot of times in my life. I've been left with nothing. I've been viewed as the bad guy. I've been ridiculed. I've been judged. I've been viewed by everyone as inferior. I've been the one that was responsible for the growth of something, and I was seen as, oh, you work for this person, and they didn't even know the half. They didn't even know a fraction of the story, and I just had to say, yeah, I've been made fun of. My pride has been destroyed. My ego has been destroyed. I had to go back to jobs and ask for a job, like, hey, can I scrub your toilets, because I had nothing. They're like, oh, weren't you part of that one company? And I said, yeah, what happened? It didn't work out. So in the short term, everyone's right. But in the long run, they're 100% wrong, because when and if, whatever God wants from me, man, I don't really care. When and if I ever decide to do anything with my life and I make it, they're 100% wrong. You just have to stack it one penny at a time. And you have to live below your means. And you have to be completely okay with it. But you're going to be just fine. I promise. You will be just fine. Don't be afraid of losing everything. Especially if you lost everything before. Because you know how to get it back. Like right now, I have nothing. I'm not afraid, because I know how to get it back. Because I have a high leverage skill. I have so many options. It's actually crazy. Like, I have so many options. I don't have to stay stuck at the gym. Like, I have so many options. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And it's because I have a high leverage skill. And when you gain that, sky's the limit. Take care of yourself, man. All my warriors, keep fighting. Good luck. Don't give up. It's not your time yet. If I'm going to keep fighting, I want you to fight with me. See you at the top.